So what are we gonna do today, Cousin BW?
The same thing we do every day, Melvin. Try to take over the neighborhood.
Hey, Bloodwing here. Back to bring some grumpiness to the internet. And boy, am I today. Matter of fact, it's a little more than grumpiness. I gotta say that I'm just a little bit ticked off about something that I've seen today, and I've just got to respond to it. Before we get into this, though, I want to point out, as most of you know, I have often said that I don't like the title anti-SJW. I prefer anti-stupid. So the implication is, no matter where I see stupid, I'm going to call it out, whether it's on, quote, their side or, quote, our side, or wherever it is. And the stupid I've seen today just happens to fall on our side. And I would not be able to call myself anti-stupid with good conscience without calling this out for what it is. Now, some of you probably already seen these clips if you follow certain people on Twitter or whatever. It's a clip from a playground from a meetup of some anti-SJW channels or creators in the UK. I'm not exactly sure exactly where, but it's in a park. Doesn't matter exactly where. It's in a park. I guess Sargon was there, and V was there, and some other people were there. But there's a particular instance, and it's one of those instances where I still don't get why people do stupid stuff, record it, and put it online. I don't understand that. But there's a particular clip that some on the, quote, other side have got a hold of. And yes, they're trying to spin it into something that it's not. But let's take an honest look at exactly what it is. Now, the clip I'm going to use is a rebuttal to the harassment charges coming from Willie Bumblebee. It's from Uzalo, or however you pronounce his name. And I will say this, I don't know anything about this guy. I know of him. I've seen the name, I've seen the avatar, but I have absolutely no idea about his content, what kind of person he is, or whatever. So I can't have a personal beef with him. I don't have a personal beef, still don't. It just happens to be the first one that I saw in rebuttal to this, so that's the one I'm going to use. There'll be a link in the description. And if you follow that link, you'll also see on his page a link to the original video and to Willie Bumblebee's video. So everything's covered. Anyway, let's get into this thing, shall we?
Right, well, I've done the face reveal now, so there's no reason not to steal V's style even further. So I woke up this morning, a few days after the meetup now, and I haven't even checked my Discord notifications, of which there are several, and I find this video by the Regressive Spin Squad. Apparently they have one of those. Who would have guessed, eh? By this Bumblebee person, right? Who apparently dislikes me as well now, as I found out on Twitter recently. And she has she spun a short portion of footage from the meetup into this fucking harassment campaign by V specifically and a bunch of his friends against innocent bystanders. I'm honestly surprised that there hasn't been like a revival of, you remember that old toy Beyblades? With this much spin, I'm surprised there hasn't been a revival. Let's dive right in, shall we? V and his pals invaded a children's playground in London. I guess I'll wait for it. Wait for the spin narrative to go a bit further before I start fixing it.
Now we'll come back to this again after a bit. But I think maybe part of the reason you're not responding to this now because you know there is no response to at least that part, because the person involved in the video certainly did invade a playground. But like I said, we'll cover that a little bit more later. Let's go on.
A bunch of Sargon fanboys invaded a children's playground, hoisted their flag from a jungle gym, and shouted, "Get out normies" at the kids. Yeah, no problems with this whatsoever. They proceeded to place a Kekistan flag on top of one of the play structures and yell, "Normies go home," and at the kids/parents. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I will have it write it down.
Alright. I want you to notice something there. V just walked off the frame, and just see if he comes back.
And yes, it does appear that V left. So this doesn't appear to be about V. Now, I'm going to make a confession here. I don't care much for V. I know a lot of people do. I just find him annoying. He's not my thing. If you do, great for you. Good on you. But at least he did show some good sense to get the heck out of this situation. And if you paid attention there, you also heard somebody say, "We're going to get kicked out of here." So somebody at least had an idea that what they were doing was wrong.
Other way around, you twat! Yes. Got it round. Other way around.
This is not even the best footage. You can see much closer up with Magpie's footage. I think that might be Magpie there, actually, on the left. But yeah, the guy who climbed to the top of this play structure and was holding up the Kekistan flag. So I might as well explain what actually happened. This guy who climbed up to the top here was very eccentric. He was a lot of fun. He actually got into another confrontation, which I don't think was his fault in the slightest. I think someone was trying to fuck with him because they thought we were white supremacists or something. So he did get involved in one or two things, but he was a perfectly nice guy. He wasn't trying to fuck with people. What he was doing here was just for fun. He, on his own, had entered the playground with the Kekistan flag, climbed to the top of this structure, and by the way, I didn't notice any of this. I don't know what I was doing at this time. I was somewhere else in the meetup. I was talking to someone, I guess.
Saying someone is eccentric is just another way of saying they're very socially awkward. So you're already making excuses for this guy. You claim he was in some other altercations, so he has a history. You're making great pains to say that V had nothing to do with it. You took great pains to say that you weren't there, so you had nothing to do with it. Which tells me you know it was a really bad idea at the very least, but you're doing everything except calling it out for what it is, and that is a very bad idea. You're stopping short of it for some reason.
So he climbed to the top of there. V had noticed this, which is why you see V at the beginning of this clip. I can't remember exactly what he'd said, but he, as far as I know, had no involvement in the planning of this procedure. He hadn't told the guy to go up there, he hadn't, said anything about it. He just noticed when it started happening, as far as I know. If he did have any involvement in it, that's still not a problem, because this is a public play area, and they didn't harass anyone. They weren't yelling at the kids. That's a complete fabrication. And it's not a difficult one to make either, because if you yell around kids, you could easily say you're yelling at them, and no one's going to be able to objectively demonstrate that you're wrong. They were just saying the things that you say when a Kekistani flag has been put somewhere high.
You've been arguing against your own point here. You're right. You even admit that it would be an argument easily made that you were yelling at the kids. Chances are these parents out there are what you would call normies. They don't know what you're hollering. They don't know who you're hollering at. Can you look at it from their point of view? Am I saying it's harassment? No. Willie Bumblebee's wrong. Nobody's being harassed here. But you are putting these parents and these children in a very uncomfortable situation, and I'll put more on that. But you're showing that you're even aware of it. Why is it that you're afraid to call it out for what it is? Is it because this is your friend, or these are your friends? See, where I come from, a good friend to this person would have said, "Hey, buddy, this is a stupid idea. Get down from there. Don't do it." But no, the people that are there which is not you, and I have no reason to believe that you were there, they egg him on by hollering things that the people around them aren't going to understand, and they're not going to know how to take.
Flip it!
And he had it the other way around as well.
Don't disrespect the flag.
You'll notice here that all the kids, they look really harassed. They look like they're in pain and suffering because of the harassment that they're enduring here. No, they're ignoring it. They don't know what's going on, they don't care. There's more important things. Fuck off, Sky. This guy just took a flag to the top of a structure, and some of his friends enjoyed the moment. And now we're fucking harassers of children and parents.
Of course the kids are not paying any attention to it. That's why there's parents there, or guardians, or people responsible for watching these kids, because kids don't often see bad or dangerous situations when it's in front of them. We're there to protect them. And I want you to pay even closer attention than he does to this video and see what's going on. And you'll realize that the kids are getting called to the outside. Their parents are calling them away from this drunken idiot. And I want you to pay really close attention to the guy dressed in blue that's in center picture right now and what he's doing.
Get out of my stream, normies, was not necessarily shouted at the kids. It's just something you say when a Kekistani flag is waving.
Let's go home.
But even if it was at the kids, they didn't care. No one cared, and why would they? What kind of losers do this shit? People who are having fun at Bumblebee. You should try it sometime. I admit I don't try it often, but I did try it this time and it was really good. I wish I had seen this happening.
Did you pay close attention? Do you see all the kids getting called away? Which is what most of us that are parents would do. And the guy in blue looks like he said something to him. Maybe get down? And he was heading toward the people recording. Now, this stops there, and I didn't do any further research. Maybe he said something to him. Maybe he was part of their group. That's what it looked like to me. And you say you wished you were there. Why? Would you have done the right thing and told him to get down? Now, I'm going to end it there because he goes on and on. It's just more of him defending this behavior. Let me give you a piece of advice from somebody that's been around the block once or twice. And it's not that I don't understand what it's like to be young and dumb. I wrote the book on being young and dumb. It happens. But I also understand good sense. Now, I'm a parent. I'm a grandparent. Those people there with their children were parents or grandparents or guardians of some sort. And let me tell you, you seem to think you weren't bothering them. I'm glad that you can tell what's going on in their minds, because being a parent and grandparent, I have a pretty good guess of what was going on in their minds at that time. Now, I don't know you, as I said. I don't know any of the people there. I don't know if you're parents or not. By your behavior, I have to guess no, but maybe you are. But let me put it to you from their perspective. I guarantee that every one of those parents there had already assessed the situation and were spring-loaded, ready to act. You guys got very lucky that somebody didn't get hurt. You're very lucky that somebody didn't punch the guy in the throat. Had it happened here in my neighborhood, and this isn't just posturing, this is the truth, somebody probably would have got hurt, and at the very least, the police called. And if the police were called, who do you think they're going to side with? Your drunken idiot buddy, or the concerned parents? Now, you're right, this is not harassment, but it was an incredibly bad idea. When you become a parent, when you become a grandparent, you become responsible for children, you can no more help that protective feeling that is as much a part of you as the color of your eyes. You can't help that, nor should you. It's not, and I've been in some arguments, people say, well, they didn't hurt anything. Or this is not an argument about whether they did hurt anything, but whether they could have. These parents don't know who these people are. All they know is some drunken idiot is now climbing the playground equipment, which you can say this is a free park all you want, but you can't tell me that that equipment was made for adults to climb on. You invaded that playground. These parents and these children have a reasonable expectation of their children be able to use the equipment that was made for them, not you, and to do so safely and without interference. But they can't get on that. They can't play on it because your drunken friend's on it. What if he fell off there onto one of these kids? Or tripped and hurt one of these kids? These parents don't know who he is. They don't know what he's capable of. They don't know if he's going to hurt one of the children. All they know is that their space has been invaded. I do not promote safe spaces, but if there's anywhere in the world that needs to be a safe space, it's where our children play. There were plenty of other areas in that park, I am absolutely sure, where you could have went and been drunken dummies without involving the kids. And the way that you kept saying that you weren't there, V wasn't there, this guy was eccentric, and this, that, and the other, knows that deep down you knew this was a really dumb idea. You were doing what you could to distance yourself from it without actually coming out and saying so. But if you were a true friend to these, and if these people that were there were a true friend to this guy, they would have said, hey, this is stupid, don't do that. Did you harass them? No, but you certainly put these people in a very uncomfortable, in a very nerve-wracking situation. I guarantee you, as a parent, I can tell you they were on high alert, ready to start kicking butt if that's what's necessary, or to flee if that's what's necessary, if something bad started happening. And that just wasn't necessary. I get it. You're young. You want to sow your wild oats. Go ahead. Sow your wild oats. Do so. But you don't have to involve the kids. You didn't have to go there. Somebody could have stopped this idiot and stopped doubling down by trying to excuse this behavior. I don't care whether anybody was hurt or not. It was a completely unnecessary and potentially dangerous situation. Dangerous, very much so, for your friend. I am shocked that someone did not take action. I'm seriously shocked. Maybe it's different here in the States than it is there in the UK. I don't know. But I know what would have happened here. And that's just not posturing. That's not just being an internet tough guy, because I've done it. I'll tell you a quick story to show you that I've done it. A couple of years ago, one of my granddaughters had a birthday party. It was in a park. We rented a shelter. By that shelter, just a few feet away, was a walking path. And this guy kept coming by with his pit bull. Now, I'm not against pit bulls. There's one in my house right now. Belongs to my daughter, the mother of the granddaughter that had the birthday. But at one point when he passed by, he decided to show off by showing that his dog could jump up, grab a limb by his strong jaws, and try to rip the limb off the tree viciously. And myself and a few others immediately said, you need to get out of here. We got kids around here. We don't need it. You'd be amazed what you do to protect kids. You have the right to do these things. You had the right to go wherever you want to. But along with those rights also comes consequences. Were you willing to face those? If somebody beat the tar out of your friend because he was acting the idiot, were you willing to face that? You don't go in messing around kids. Trust me. That fight reflex immediately jumps up in a parent. If they're normal, somebody should have grabbed this guy and said, this is not a good idea. And I get it. You're all going to say, oh, you're just old. You don't remember what it was like to be young. Yes, I do. Absolutely do. Like I said, I wrote a book on being young and dumb. I also know what I'm talking about, being a parent and a grandparent, and how these people probably felt at your presence. Why don't you, instead of trying to excuse it, now that you've proven it wasn't harassment, I will agree with you on that. I do not agree with Willie Bumblebee. But why don't you come out and at least say what it really is? It was a really stupid idea. When people get together, no matter what side they're on, whether they're anti-SJWs or they're feminists or they're racist or non-racist, it don't matter. When people get together, alcohol involved, chances are somebody's going to be doing something stupid. And this was one of those times. I'd have much more respect for you if you would call it out for what it is. I fully expect to get some hate on this. People are not going to understand where I'm coming from. People aren't going to get where I'm coming from. Maybe fans of this guy or the other people will find out about this video, though I doubt it. I'm too small. But if they do, and they'll come fill my comment, I fully expect all this. But I don't care. I really don't. When it comes to freedoms and safety between you and a group of children, I will pick the kids every daggum time. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say on this. Probably said too much. But, as always, if you're a drunken idiot, get the heck out of my yard.